The man who exposed George Soros's manipulations is here at CPAC stage. He is the director of the European Center for Law and Justice. In 2020, they published a very thorough study showing how George Soros's organizations manipulate the selection of judges for the European Court of Human Rights. Ladies and gentlemen, on the stage of CPAC Hungary, Grégor Puppinck.
Good morning, everyone. Very pleased to be here with you today. It's a great honor to be with CPAC, a great pleasure to be again in Hungary. Yes, the father is a man and the mother a woman. I agree. As a father and a husband, I can tell that the father is a man and the mother a woman. But moreover, the man should also be a father. I mean that to be accomplished, a man ought to be a father, or at least to behave as a father, even if he has no kids. A father is a man who gives protection, direction, and who has authority and bears responsibility. But today, sadly, too many boys do not even have an idea of what it means to be a man, a husband, and a father. Where are the examples of such men when the liberal doxa pretends to deconstruct sexual genders? In France, Mr. Macron asserted that a father is not necessarily a male. Of course, without fatherhood, there cannot be any strong family, but there neither cannot be any fatherland. The destruction of fatherhood leads to the one of the fatherland, because the family is a place where persons can be deeply rooted in one land and in one history. It is a family and the homeland that allows us to live with historical depth and not just float on the surface of superficial events. The family is a unique place of transmission of life and culture. We know that. In a world that is more and more artificial and virtual, the family also roots us deeply into nature, into biology. Blood ties, sexuality, and procreation are the most direct and beautiful experiences of our participation in natural life. There is nothing more ecological as to be a family. I want to add that family is a reality that we cannot buy. Family recalls us that the most important things in life are not for sale. It takes virtues rather than money to found a family. But the destruction of the family doesn't lead only to the one of the homeland. It also leads to the loss of the true and fundamental freedoms. We know that all dictatorships have in common their will to destroy the family. They want to transform the natural, organic composition of society into an artificial construction, to take the place of the parents and of God in order to submit it to their will. This was, and this is still, the willingness of the communists and the different kinds of socialists. After the Second World War, the drafters of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights wanted to oppose dictatorship, rebuilding society on the families, not on the individuals. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights says that the family, not the individual, is the natural and fundamental group unit of society. That is to say that it does not owe its existence to the state. Since then, numerous texts in international law have upheld the natural understanding of the society based on subsidiarity. Man is not an abstract and isolated being, but a living and a social one. As well, the drafters of the European Convention of Human Rights in that time wanted to protect the rights of the parents and the family. They spoke about the rights of the families, family freedoms. Through the families, they wanted to protect, I quote, the youth against the threat of nationalization, appropriation, and requisition by the state. Yes, families is a wall. It is a bastion of liberty. because it is within families that all heritages survive and are transmitted. It is wrong to say that individualism is the only alternative to collectivism and dictatorship, because radical individualism also leads to alienation. As we all know, it leads to a similar submission to the state and to the global powers. In this regard, the postmodern ideology is no different from the communist and the socialist. Family is at the opposite of the postmodernists. This is why they hate it so much and want to destroy it as we know it. Family is deconstructed in the law and the media, and the parents are increasingly depossessed of their rights and duties towards their children. We know that. Today, sadly, too many children, boys and girls, do not know what a healthy family is. Even the European Court of Human Rights do not know anymore what family means. For the European Court of Human Rights, family is only a kind of subjective ties between two persons. The destruction of family is done in the name of freedom, of individual freedom, but it is a path to servitude. This is the full game, the full bargain of the postmodernists. They pretend that the individual is finally becoming autonomous, and that this is the greatest progress of humanity, because now we have the right for the mother to be a father, or the father to be a mother, or the right to kill ourselves through assisted suicide. But in reality, no one has never been less autonomous than the man today, who is in fact totally dependent on the society. We have never been more dependent than today. We shall seek for independence, not for autonomy. So the best way to fight statism and to strengthen sense of society, freedom and responsibility is, of course, to strengthen families. If we want our countries to be strong, to survive and to remain independent in the future, we must reinforce and strengthen families. This is why I want to congratulate Hungary for its successful family policy, leading to more marriages, less divorces, and more births. And also for its effort to transmit its cultural and natural heritages to the next generation. This is a condition for independence and true freedom. This should be the goal of any decent government who wants its people, its country, to survive in the next generation and to continue flourishing. I thank you.